Hi, I'm Katie Manley, and today I'd like to talk to you about recycling and waste reduction, specifically plastics. I've chosen this as my social issue because the overabundance of plastic in our environment is something that really impacts our daily lives, our air quality, the environment, and it's also going to impact our future generations. That also includes things like plants and animals. So those are things that are really important to me and something that I'm very passionate about. So I want to share a little bit about what I've learned with you. First off, I'd like to talk about nature and how plastics impact nature. I recently read that plastics cover a size of twice the area of Texas in our oceans. And what that means is fish and sea turtles and whales and all kinds of other sea animals are ingesting this plastic, and maybe they think it's jellyfish, maybe it's something like those old Coke rings and they get hung up in them. And if they're not, unfortunately, dying from these conditions, it does impact their ability to survive on their own. There are places like the Jekyll Island Sea Turtle Facility that rescues and helps those kind of marine life issues. But a lot of places, the animals wash up on shore dead and they're just filled with different pieces of plastic. There's been 180 documented species that have plastic in their bodies. They've eaten it or ingested it in some way. So that's not things getting tangled up in fishing line or in Coke rings or getting some kind of poor plastic bottle stuck on their head. That's actually those animals eating them. And that includes land animals as well, other birds, not just marine life. So that's pretty big of an impact for us as far as nature is concerned. This sort of obsession with plastic that we have is really polluting our air and our soils and our water. And because so many different plastic materials are actually derived from petroleum, they're a petroleum product, it could even increase our gasoline prices. So reducing the use of those is probably a really good step that we can all take to help our environment and our own pocketbooks. So those are some of the impacts on nature, and of course, the worse the impact on nature, the worse the impact is going to be on us. So what can you do about it? Right now, there are some really easy things you can do and some habits that you can sort of start and prolong throughout your life, things that you can learn. The first is to just refuse. I know we're all probably used to reduce, reuse, recycle, but refuse is one of the first ones in a new R that they've added. And refuse means refuse plastic bags. Refuse the plastic cutlery that you might get at a fast food restaurant. Refuse straws. Think about how many straws you use. That's kind of an astounding idea to me, and it's just so natural to us because we've all sort of grown up with having straws and all kinds of plastics around us. The next step that you can take is to reduce your use of plastics. Reduce those new purchases of things that are maybe individually packaged or things that come in plastics that are not recyclable. And then you can also reuse the things that you already have. So something like those lunch meat containers, you can rinse those out. A lot of them, whether or not they're dishwasher safe, I have successfully put them in the dishwasher and they survive the trip. So you can reuse those things for leftovers or for snacks, or even, carrying different laundry powders if you have to go to the dorm laundry area, different stuff like that. And then finally, recycle. And recycle as often as you can, as much as you can. But an important note about recycling is you should really make an effort to clean out your containers. That really just means if you open up a can of soup or something, rinse it out. And that takes just a few seconds, and it's really, really easy. And it helps the machinery at the recycling facility to actually run well. And that's the same if you get like laundry detergent or dish soap. Just rinse those things out until they're clean, and then you're good to go. But recycling isn't the only thing you can do. It's also important to purchase post-consumer content. So one of those is like this ring says it has 96% post-consumer content. And that means this is something that was recycled and sold, and that helps contribute to making sure recycling is still relevant. So I'm going to leave you with a few simple ways to limit your waste and your plastics, and hopefully you learned something. Thanks.